for your own work. And then you're very pleased. You are happy that you have something newly developed, and then you are in the room of contentment. Then you're very content with the new lessons learned, and you're able to adapt. But of course, we know that learning is always continuing. So because then, if you're too content, then you are starting to deny that you perhaps need something more again. So there are kind of four rooms of change in your own behavior in the learning cycle. So this week we may go through these rooms together, and sometimes you can feel that you're very pleased and content where you're sitting. You think you know everything. Half an hour later you may be completely confused. And what has this to do with Knust? And so this is a bit of a nice schedule of the process we go through. This is the process of this week. What I hope to go through with also a little bit more than only you, but it's great that you're here. So those who really want to learn and to be with me are here. So great having you here. So this week what we are going to do is, let's say the focus is of course on Knust, but you're from different institutions, so you can bring in your own experiences and apply them to your own institutions. And what we want to do is to, let's say, go into the path of designing a kind of transformation process for your own department or the university as a whole, which has different steps. And we don't do everything, but let's say this is the steps that are more or less underlying the program of this week. Where first, if you want to change, you first need to understand the current situation that you're in. So that's what we're doing today, and that's what we also will be doing tomorrow morning. So understanding the current situation. So what are also, so this afternoon we're focusing on, let's say, the external environment. So what are all the changes that are relevant for our institution? And tomorrow morning we will focus more on what you can say traditionally as a kind of SWOT analysis, but that we do not on the traditional 4 boxes, SWOT or TO, whatever, but we do it through an online assessment. So that's why tomorrow morning you're all asked to bring in your own laptop or iPad or whatever. Internet connection is good in the building, so that shouldn't be an issue, but without a device it makes the session tomorrow morning a bit useless. Yeah, you can share with someone else, but the best learning is by doing it yourself. So, and from there we move on, okay, what is, let's say, the desirable situation? So from current understanding, so envisioning what is really would you like to get at. So picturing your institution in 2030, for instance, and then we're moving on to that tomorrow afternoon. And we also work on that on the Wednesday morning. And then we are, let's say, Wednesday and Thursday is about becoming more concrete. So what are desirable and feasible offerings of Knust that are entrepreneurial, that you really think there is a market for, that you could develop. That we're going to do. And the last step, of course, is the viability. Viability we won't do this week. Because viability requires that you need to calculate, you need to have if you have a product or a service, you need to actually make a calculation on, you need to test in the market whether it's worth it, what may be the number of customers you may get. You need to make calculations. So we can talk about it, but we cannot do it within this week. Yeah? But when you develop a kind of enterprise idea, which was floated earlier this morning, you can make a more good plan, but in the end you also need to do your detailed calculations. Yeah, but that's not for now. So that's let's say the roadmap. So that's why in that there are also, of course, group exercise. In between, I can also add certain specific subjects on, for instance, entrepreneurship centers and incubation, where I have a kind of a presentation which is kind of specific topic-wise. We can also talk a bit about, let's say, characteristics of entrepreneurial leadership. We can also talk about entrepreneurship education for students. There's also a whole bunch of literature on entrepreneurial education for students. And I also would like to have a session on triple helix and entrepreneurial ecosystems. So these kind of things we can glue in when it's needed. So, but let's say for developing for helping in, let's say, planning your own process, this is the path. And in between we can slot in certain, let's say, specific topics, and we deepen on that. Okay? That's the program of this week. Let's see what my next slide shows. Yes. Next is exercising. So I will, please read careful what we're going to do. I would like, in all togetherness, that we are starting to draw a mind map. And I would like to invite those who are more the backbenchers to at least come to the second row. The very, very backbencher also to the second row. So we're with a small group. So please, let's become a bit more together. Also because I would like people to be more closer to the board. Oop! It was it Christian? No? Kwame. Apology. I will learn. Okay. Does it still work? Yeah. Second time. Okay, you already have it. Okay. So what I want to do, I don't know what I need to. I don't need a mic, yeah, for this. Perhaps you do me a favor if you say something on the mic, because then I hear you more clearly.
I know it's a positive trend, but are we putting the positive and the negative together, or we are putting the negative? Yeah, so increasing IGF, that is internally generated fund.
Yes, my question, I understand. My question to you then is that trend, according to you, not your friends, to you, a new one, or is it a branch of existing one?
No, it's a new one.
Why not just say, excuse me, lack of diversified funding base? That will cover both. The funding base, diversified funding base.
That one later. IGF.
ICT in teaching and learning. It's a new trend. New. Yes. In teaching and learning. Yes.
What did you say? Please put on your mic. What did you say? Just repeat what you said.
I think it's already been covered. Said lack of diversified funding base. Most universities do not have serious funding bases.
Diversified funding base,
yeah.
Maybe an issue. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's covered.
As such formulate, it's not a trend. So my
Okay.
question then to you would be, is that lack of diversification increasing or decreasing? Or becoming a bigger or a smaller problem?
I think
So that's then the question of the trend.
in certain cases it's increasing. I know for here it's increasing, but for my university it's decreasing.
Is it the lack that is decreasing, or the availability that is increasing?
The availability. Now the present government is not paying anything to the university. In fact, the government owes the university about 80 billion leons, our local currency. So that, and the university cannot, hardly gets involved in any financial ventures, because the initial money is not there to start any business-related ventures, fundraising ventures. Well, I think it's already been covered. You have to diversify your funding base.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
only one source, not only through research, for example, not only through consultancy.
Okay, fine. But I understand you're picturing the situation, that I do understand. But can you also formulate out of that a specific trend that is relevant? Is it kind of decreasing funding opportunities or increasing?
It's improving, but gradually. It's improving.
So there are
Most institutions.
So improving funding opportunities or improving diversification? Not the same.
My statement was lack of diversified
Yeah.
funding base.
Yes.
Now the base is not diversified. Some people only concentrate on one aspect,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
government funding.
Yeah.
That should be diversified. It can only depend on government funding to run an institution.
Okay. Okay.
You have to have other sources of income.
Can we put it this way? Increasing sources of funds.
Okay.
Increasing sources of funds.
Yeah, which is a bit related to, that's of
Yes.
course your point. I understand your point. Increase
Sources of fund.
Okay, where do I make the line?
I think they should link up. IGF is part of that. Yes, so that's a major line. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, perhaps it needs to go like this, but that's...
But I have another one. Increasing number of programs.
Increasing number of programs,
Yes.
academic programs.
Yeah, academic
I
program.
think that's a complete fresh one, yeah?
Yeah, it's a fresh.
Increase. Okay, thanks. Please. This won't have any purpose.
Innovative research. These days, everything is research is now moving into being innovative. So I don't know how to, like, research. Like whatever research we do these days, there should be innovations in the kind of increasing.
Current state. Sorry. Is it current state or that is what is happening?
No, he was correct. He was, let's say, clear in the formulation, and any kind of discussion around it. But your formulation is perfectly fine. It's increasing innovative research. And can I make a link to something, or is it a new tree, a new branch? Sorry.
It's a new brand.
Can we say it this way?
No, wait a minute. Please.
It's related to what you say.
I know. But then we add your words to his.
Okay.
We're not replacing your words, but we're adding. Okay. So increase innovative research. Also here, it's a kind of way from, because you wanted to have a related comment.
Yes, increase research output.
Increase research output.
Yes.
Do you mean to say that the quantity of research outputs are increasing, or is
Yes.
there an increasing pressure on you to...
Not the pressure, but the number, the quantity.
Okay. So that's definitely related to this
Yes,
one,
that
or
is
the
so the output, research output.
in your views it's the same but then formulated differently?
Oh, this is
Increase
research output.
the number you said, huh? Number of research output.
Yes, the output, yes. Number of
Research output. And he's got another one. So yeah, you will.
increasing demand of, I would say, either adequate or sophisticated accommodation for students.
Again.
Increasing
of,
demand,
of
adequate or enhanced accommodation from students.
Okay. So just with a dormitory with 6 beds is not enough anymore. That's what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah?
Now Wi-Fi, everything. That's what they are demanding.
Should I put it at least a little bit in this area?
Yes,
it's not the same.
Increasing what demand for improved accommodation.
Yeah. So it's not only the number of students that are increasing, but also their demands.
Quality-wise, they want the
Increasing demand of for adequate. You mentioned another word. Adequate and
accommodation or
accommodation. I know.
Or improve.
Adequate, improved. Accommodation
for students.
That's this kind of word. Yeah, it needs to be improved. Just now Samuel was first, I think, and then I go to this side. Samuel. Oh. Oh, that's a broad one, yeah? Increase demand for higher education. Yeah, and you say it's related to? Okay. Yeah, please.
Stable academic environment.
Again,
Stable academic environment.
a stable academic environment. That's great. So, what is then the trend that you try to convey to us? What kind of trend in your message? Is it becoming less and less stable, or is it becoming more? Okay. Okay, but for you within your institution, you say that you consider in your at least a more stable academic environment. Okay. Where do I put it on this beautiful? Is it? Okay. He said, I think it's new, and then he pointed this direction, so I'll just put it here. More stable. Just a minute. You can, of course, also come in. Let's say it is focusing on, let's say, Knoest, because I think we are here in the house of Knoest, so that we'll keep doing that. But I think your neighbor countries. So. No, but that's good. That's good. Just do so. Just feel free. Yeah? Just feel free to contribute. Okay. Now I go to you, and then I go to you. Please put on the mic so they hear you better.
Appears to be some pressure on the universities,
Okay.
or KNUST in particular, to descend from the ivory tower.
Uh-huh.
The society now expects us to be solving a lot of the problems that we have,
Uh-huh.
and it's a pressure on us.
So increasing pressure
Yes.
to be societal relevant.
Relevance, yes.
Where is it
Completely new.
completely? So increasing pressure. I think that's wrong, but anyway. To be relevant. And do I also need to specify relevant for what? Yeah. Yeah, in the society. So relevant it is. Yeah, because you can also be relevant for the Nobel Prize committee. And that's why I think it's also relevant now that we add in the society. And then I need to include AIDS, of course. Sorry, it's becoming a bit messy. I come to you.
More private participation in the provision of facilities for universities. Yeah.
Okay.
It's new.
Right. More private
participation.
Oh yeah, yeah. You formulated well, but I participation
in higher education. Yeah. So
in
HE, higher education institutions. Yeah.
Ah, okay. But that's fine. I put it down.
Yeah.
But when you first started talking, you
so
formulated a
it's
little bit differently.
More facilities, but I think it's not only that.
Okay. But what I do, if you don't mind,
okay.
I also write down facilities. This is indeed broader, but this you also mentioned specifically.
Yeah.
So here I think you have an example in mind, do you?
Agreed. Yeah. Previously, I mean, we had our traditional halls. We had to government had to provide everything.
Yeah.
And now private people are putting up hostels and so on for students. Yeah.
Okay. On campus.
On and off campus. Yeah. Because the students are still sharing rooms. Okay.
Yeah. I promised someone to come here now. Was it? Bye.
My point is increasing the number of NUST and other partners. So partnership, increasing NUST or whether private sector or whatever partnership.
Okay. Did you point to this one? Or sorry, where do you want me to at least put it close to something else?
It's not,
No.
maybe the private thing could be one of it.
Yeah.
But it's about increase in the number of partnership agreements that
Yes.
we have with other
Yeah.
organizations.
No.
Yes.
Partnerships or collaborations are the same?
Yes.
So I'll just use your word, so partnerships. And in your view, it can be all kind of partnerships, yeah? With private sector indeed, but also beyond.
Also beyond, yes.
Like with mine. Oh yeah, I'm here also now.
Yes, I have.
I don't know how that will. Please put on the mic because the room needs it apparently.
The difference between the increase in partnership and more private participation, I see the two to be the same.
Okay. Could you respond? Because
The partnership can either be with private organizations, it can be with communities, it can be with businesses. I mean, that is the same as private, but also with other universities and research organizations. So the private participation could be part of the partnership that we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's also how I understood it. Is it clarifying your? Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yes, I have 4.
And then
The
4.
Yes, 4 of them.
All brand new or
Yes.
related?
Oh, no,
Please
brand
explain.
new. They're
Tell
brand
me.
new that have really emerged. The first one is we have seen increased recruitment of talented staff.
Okay. Increased
Recruitment of
talented
or
staff.
qualified staff.
Oh, that sounds positive.
Yes, they are positive.
Related somewhere?
I think it goes to the overall educational, what Professor Dai said. Yes, academic programs. And,
Or this one?
No, it's on your left there. Yes.
Increase. So.
Yeah, it goes there. Or it should be separate. Eh? No, this staff recruitment over the years.
You formulated well, but my memory is sometimes a bit getting.
I said increased recruitment of qualified staff. First, there is increase, and they are all qualified or talented staff.
Of talented. Okay.
Then the second
so actually, what is happening? So actually, what is instead of increase, you could also have said more talented staff.
Yeah,
yeah?
yes, it can also be more talented staff.
Good.
The second one is that we're also seeing an increased engagement with community.
Increased
engagement, community engagement.
Increased community engagement. I've got a feeling we can link it somewhere. Yes. Where was your relevance?
Partnership or research output or relevance, yes.
So,
you can link it there.
Increased community engagement, that was the word, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Increased community engagement. As you can see, I'm not educated to be a primary education teacher, because then I would have done it much more nicer. And Mike, please.
Increase enrollment of graduate students over the years.
In
the past, we were just doing more of undergraduate, but now we have increased the percentage of graduate students.
I have somewhere an increased number of students.
Yes.
So we can, and here you say actually increased number of graduate students, eh?
Yes, which is important to us.
Okay. Yep.
Now, in the same notice there, we observe that addressing the SDGs, we have increased the number of female, which is important, the female students, the percentage.
Just from my understanding, do you have some numbers, percentages? Around 30% for first year fresh intake. Yeah, so that will of course move on. Okay, no, that's it's a science and technology institute, it's quite high. Yeah. Yeah, of course, per department it may be completely different. I can imagine in Edwin's department it's... That's confidential. Now I go, sorry, because you raise your hands and you have not yet been heard in this.
Yeah, I wanted to say that increased deterioration of laboratory infrastructure.
So deterioration.
Of laboratory infrastructure.
Oh, that's a bit of an issue, yeah, I can imagine.
Studio.
Is there a possibility to relate it somewhere?
Maybe it's in tandem with the increased student numbers, somehow related.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, pressure on resources, yes.
Pressure on resources, where? Did I put it somewhere? Help me, guys.
It is.
Is it pressure on resources?
No improvement on infrastructure.
No, there's nothing like that. But you said something else, so I'll just do. No, I'll first write what you said. So it's a deterioration.
Deterioration, yes.
Deterioration of labs.
Laboratory infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay, so that's clear. And it is related to something else? Is it related to something else? If so? Sorry, I haven't heard your answer on my question. Should I relate it to somewhere else? Let it stand alone. Okay. Thank you. I heard, as a reaction on what you said, someone about pressure on resources. Should I put it somewhere? Sorry, is there an increasing pressure on resources? And I also put that on, that most likely is related to this one, yeah? Okay, sorry, not yet. Edwin, you earlier also raised your hand. That's okay, you did it together. Now I go back to, yes. Please, Mike.
Collaborative research.
Increase collaborative research.
Yes.
So should I relate it to the innovative?
Yes. No, that one is research output.
And also, yeah,
This
and
one.
also it's related to the partnering, yeah? Collaborative research. Okay. And someone also said it's also, no, okay, we'll see. Just a minute.
Yeah, increase in conference and peer review papers.
Yeah, okay, okay. Increased research outputs, and you said conference and academic papers?
And peer review papers.
Ah, yeah.
Then increase in lectures workload.
He's laughing.
Yes.
So you don't recognize it at all? Okay, but everyone knows. Increasing workload of teachers?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, that's fine. No, it's not fine, of course. Where should I... Is there an interrelation? Probably. No, I ask you. Sorry. Where should I put it? I'll put it here. Increase workload teaching staff, yeah? That's yeah, well formulated? It's good. It's good. Yeah. We had something more about. Yeah. Yeah. So what I do, I'll write it down at least here, so it's more and but help. Can you repeat again? Increase. Sorry again. Oh, demand. That was the word. Increase demand for modern facilities. Yeah. Modern learning facilities, you said, huh? No, modern facilities, okay. Okay. No, just a minute, because I think Sunday, you haven't said so much, because of course you have another institutional perspective in your head. Would you like to bring in one? Mike, yes, thanks.
I'm not actually bringing in anything. But considering one of the points here, increased pressure on resources.
Yes.
And also we're having from the other end, less government funding.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they should go together.
Okay. Okay. We take that in mind, yeah? Okay. For me, it becomes a bit too messy if I now, during this exercise, make too many lines, yeah? Then we, not only I don't understand anymore, but no one, yeah? Yes. Yes.
To the increasing number of students,
yeah,
is the pressure to provide security also for staff and students.
Yeah. So increasing security challenge?
Challenge.
He used the word challenge.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, health.
So
health. It could be health. You can even add health needs and all that.
Yeah. Oh, security and health. Yeah, because health is not really yeah, okay. Personal, yeah. Health issues. Because with more security guards, you are not solving health problems immediately, yeah? And with
alumni involvement.
It's increasing also?
Yeah.
Yeah? Or it's a wish to... Is it happening? Do you see it really happening? Or is it something you would like to see? No.
There's something there and it should happen.
Okay, so you would like to enforce that.
Yeah, so that.
Okay. More alumni involvement. A bit. Is it related to something or completely new? Should be new. Yes, you also raised your hands up. Or you did it together? Ah. I think that's that's good linked, huh? Should we link it to this one or? But it's definitely this area, yeah. Increases the demand of adequate and improved accommodation. Yeah, I understand. Increase. Okay, but it can also stand on its own. Good. Let's see the time. Yeah, I think we should. Okay, the board is not full, but it's rather full. So I would like to give the opportunity for one or two more. Is there really someone who needs to be heard? That you have something that has not been said, but you think it should be heard?
Just a quick one. I don't know. We're talking about less and less government funding, but
yeah, that's how we started.
I sense there's also the desire of government to, wean itself of funding of university education, because there's that desire, to make universities autonomous and be able to fund themselves. Yeah.
Okay. For you, that's different than less government funding?
That one has been decreasing over the years, but when you hear it, it's like, can we stop paying even lecturers so that the university work to pay themselves?
Yeah. So it's a kind of, so it's not only a financial, so do I hear you correctly, that you're not talking about only the money, but also kind of political decisions?
Yes, and also like the universities make money, and there's also the desire to take part to central government.
But that's again something else.
It's all about funding.
So is it then correct that you see a kind of tendency of increasing distance between your central government and the universities?
Yeah, that's what I see.
Which kind of positive and negative effects?
Yeah, both ways.
Wait, huh?
It's less government funding.
Yeah, I know, that's already there.
Yes.
So increase, I call it distance, government and higher education institutions. And of course that then leads to less government funding also. Okay, just final. Okay.
There's also increasing demand for quality assurance in higher education.
That was definitely not yet there. Or was it there? Yeah. We have the increase of number of academic programs, but you also say not only number.
Quality assurance.
Yeah.
Getting accreditation. Now they're talking about.
How should I formulate it?
Increasing quality assurance, increasing requirement for this.
Increasing quality assurance.
Quality assurance.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's clear. I relate it also, of course, it's not at least to the word academic program, yeah, and not to increase number of the program, but to quality assurance and academic programs is increasing, yeah.
Possibly the last one.
Oh, you never know. Possibly, that's a nice word.
The tendency to decentralize,
yeah,
and at the same time centralize.
Yeah, okay, I understand. I think I understand, but within the institution or beyond?
No, within the institution. See, there is that tendency to say, let power devolve. But in certain situations, you realize, let power be centralized.
Yeah.
So we are torn between there, so that there is that tendency.
Okay. I don't know where to put it.
It's full. So it's full. That is why it's the last.
I've got no, anyway. No. Close. Increase decentralization. And increase centralization. Okay. I think that's it. Gents, final words? I have to put a big circle around it. No, but it's nice words. Of course, I like it very much. Do you really sense that there's really a change, that there's really a need, increasing need or demand for? Yeah? Okay. I've got the most place here, so I put it here. Is that okay? So, increased demand for? Creative? Yeah, sorry, I just don't. Okay. That's it, yeah? Okay. Yeah. This was the bell? This was the bell. Okay. That's good, because we continue. We're doing perfectly fine. So what you see, there's quite a lot happening around you, yeah? So what I would like to do now, and I'll, if you would be so kind to distribute to your fellow participants, and I also say out loud what is written there. So I would like all of us to actually try to pick out the real important ones. Yeah? And how are we going to do this? Very simple. You have to stand up. And I give each of you 6 stickers. Very simple. You get 6 stickers. Yeah? And I would like you to stick them on the wall. And for those trends that you perceive are the most important for Knoest. Okay? And of course that's difficult because they're all related, I know. And from those 6, you're allowed to maximum 3 to put at the same location. So if the one that you think, oh, that's the really important one, you are allowed to put 3, but not 6, not 5, not 4. So for one trend, you're free to put 1 sticker, 2 stickers, or 3 stickers. Yeah? And in total, you've got 6 stickers. And with us, and what we then will see, hopefully, some kind of pattern will emerge. Yeah? And what we then try to do before we leave, try to see whether we can group the ones. And I think there already have been a bit of inventions here of how to formulate certain things, to group them cleverly together. Yeah? That's all. So I'll give you a pack of 6 and have a look and come out of your chair, and we'll do just a very dynamic small exercise. And of course you may think all of them are important, so you have to make choices, but that's what management is about. Management is a sense, in the end, to dare to make certain choices and to more there. And since all of you would like to leave soon, I invite you to come out of your chair now and just do it. Allez. Oh yeah. Is our cameraman still here? He's gone? Oh, oh yeah. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, that's okay. You're an important lady. It's good you're here. So I don't. Perhaps you can. Oh, I need to put this on. So, 1, 2, 8, someone says, okay. 4. Yes, 2, 2, 1 only. 1 only. This one, yeah? And this a lot? Wow. Oh! Thanks. Okay. Now this is clear. Now wait a minute. So apparently demand for modern facilities is an important one. And there was a 9. Where was the 9? Increasing pressure on resource. Oh no, where's to my right? This is my right. Oh, the employment. This one, okay. Now I've got here an 8. Increasing pressure on resources. It's also 1. There's an 8. And I had a 7 here. Wait a minute. This is the leadership management one. Do I have more 8, 9s or 7s? Yeah, I think this is it. These are the big ones, yeah? Yeah, can this be okay? Now, can this be glued together in a different formulation? How would you then reformulate this? Yeah. Okay, that's good. So that seems. So then we group is okay. We just glue them together, yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Less employment opportunities. Are there other formulations on the board which we earlier did not really connect, but now think they should be connected in one or the other way? This stands in itself. Yeah? Yeah. Is it also, could you also relate it to your relevance? There was something about societal relevance up there on my right. There was the, I need to put a, I'm looking for, can we come to some kind of common denominator, some kind of, sorry, apology. This was needed, yeah. Okay, then, so you say I should not relate the employment opportunities with increasing pressure to be relevant? They're related, yeah? Yeah. Because this also is doing pretty well, yeah? And it also has to do with community engagement, I suppose. Which didn't got any number, so it's a 0 one, but still. I just link those two together, yeah? Ah, yeah, that makes then the numbering also different. So, wait, so here you said research. Yeah, but it's too thin, but I'm already trying to do so. Ah, yeah, each cluster another color, that's good, that's good. So we'll make research green. Yeah, I know, but this was, I don't have to rewrite the word research. So what's then, let's say, the trend? Is this one together, yeah? Which comes a total of 8 here already, which is already different, yeah? Yeah, which is also here. They didn't score, but they were mentioned, yeah? And I'll go to this one, so I'll make a blue. Wait, just wait a minute. This one, we haven't talked about this one yet. Yeah? Yeah, what? Ah, okay. Okay, you already were anticipating my question. That's good. Sorry. So this one should be increased resources or pressure on resources. And which one can be added? The workload one. Huh? Okay, you say yes, but I don't someone I don't fully understand. Yeah. Wait, I want to understand. Okay. Then I go back. Who did say this in the beginning? Who? This one. You were the one? Were you also including human resources when you, or we're talking about infrastructure? Okay. So is it okay to use the resources here in the broader sense, because Samuel had another interpretation, and actually I also in the beginning had a different interpretation, but that's okay. So if we interpret resources as also including human resources, then it's okay to also add that one to it. Yep. Okay. Okay, which comes to 16, yeah? 14, yes. Yeah, someone of you said 16, so me. Oh, did Edwin tell it to me? Anyway. Okay. Yes, that was indeed the whole stuff of money. Yeah, I'm more or less at the right side, yeah? So this is, of course, less funding, but you here see increased sources of funding, increased internal generated funds. So that's a kind of it's a changing financial landscape, yeah? It's a changing financial landscape. And if we do that, then we'll do like here. And we have to do this, and this is 5, 4, and 4 is 13. Yeah, I don't trust anyone anymore. I want to do my own calculations. 13. Okay. It's quite difficult to keep this nicely as a nice picture. But we have financial landscape change. I think this is also, the trend is, let's say, a change in also expectations and demands on leadership and management. So that stands on itself, I think, yeah? That stands on itself. What I hear, the whole increase on pressure on, no, not the pressure. This is the increase of demand for modern facilities. Yes, I did. That's good. Yeah. And this one was 9 and 4 is 13. Is this, what's the origin of this? Is the origin of this increasing number of students or increasing, so is there a kind of also causal relation between others? Because is this a trend in itself, or is it because of other things that we also have pictured here? That's why I'm not fully sure, you know? I sense something about it, that's why. Yeah, that's, yeah.
It's also linking to
Excuse me? Yeah. I think funny enough that the increased number of students is only get one sticker. But if you perhaps analytically look a little bit more deeply, I think many of the things that are at least written here are related to that. Am I correct? So
the university is here because of the students. So almost everything that you've written there is all related.
Yeah, okay, but that's true. Yes and no, but let's say this goes beyond. Yeah, financial changing landscape is really different. How do you? It's not low. So how do we count? Increased number. So this is the female students. 2. This also 1. The 3, 5, 6. Yes, definitely. Increased workload teaching staff. No. So 6. Increased demand also. 7. 7, 8, 9, 9. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did do. Yeah, it was the accreditation, yes. I don't know exactly how to do this, but anyway. So what's the keyword? Is students. Okay. So if I have keywords here, is let's say increasing number of students, but not only number. Number may be a bit too restrictive, because also your type of students is changing, because you are strategically looking for more female students. They may have other specific health security issues. So it's not, and also it's a desire of the university, I think, to go more in graduate students. So it's only type and numbering, yeah? It's coming together. Increased number and type. So that's a clear one, yeah? Then there's a direct relation that is, of course, which is perhaps more operational, also has a whole operational but very important thing about increasing pressure on your resources. Yeah? So they're of course related. So So what's my keyword? This is in blue. So here I use the keyword as resources. Okay. Resources. So students, resources. So here, facilities. Yeah, you may also say it has to do with the resources also, but it's okay. Okay. This is about leadership and management, which we said it stands on itself. This was money. I don't know the sign for the city. What do you do? The C? Like this? Okay. So this one. Okay. Just a minute. Then we are at the, and then we can again look back whether we did it correct. And the last one that we identified was the employment. And I think that's the. Or should we use the word employment, or should we talk about society relevance? Employment is concrete, yeah? Okay. I think, and the research it was already here. It's a green one. Increased research output, but also increased need and demand for collaborative and innovative research. So I think that's there. Now we take a bit of distance. Do we have grasped, let's say, the most important clusters? Yes. Okay. No. Yes. More competition with the 3. And then? So how would you, what would be your keyword that is grouping that cluster? More competition? Is it okay to add as an important cluster? Because it does not really come so clearly from this picture. Yeah. I'll make a... Okay. So that's only this one and this one, yeah? I think this is what you want to do. Yeah. Now, the specific numbers are, of course, completely irrelevant, whether it's a 6 or a 2 or whatever, but it's just a mechanism to try to see kind of common understanding. Okay, what I'll do now, so I think this is, so what we have been doing, we had, first we had some talking about what are entrepreneurial universities, but then we said, okay, why should we actually change? And then we have been talking about this morning about already employment issues, but you see there are many more things that are relevant for your institution to actually address in one or the other way, or take a strategic decision how to go about it. Now I'll look at the time. We're doing great. We're doing great. I'll put this a bit. Does it work? Yes, it does work. Okay. What I like, let's say, we'll keep this board in the room during the program. Why? Because then at least while we're doing that, you can still once in a while look at this and say, oh, what for are we actually trying to make a change? And then you still can think, oh, okay, yes, that's what we thought about. And it's more kind of thing in the back of your head than that you need to know all the details there. Yeah? Just briefly, is let's say when we say let's say KNUS is of course totally not the only institution that that has a desire to make certain changes. And this is from Alan Gibb, a UK scholar who did a lot of research already and publications on entrepreneurial universities. And there, let's say, he says that there are many different developments in the world on to which the universities need to respond in one or the other way. And he groups it in this way. And I think many of those things we have touched upon in a certain way during our mind mapping. Let's say it's about, let's say, how, let's say it's all about kind of external pressures on the institution to indeed respond to a global or national trends, and to actually, in that sense, become more more relevant for the institution. So you see on top, you see, let's say, the whole public debate, your governments, where there's a lot of pressure on your own university system to contribute to the industrial economic development of the country. So that's a big message, that's a big pressure on you. But at the same time also, like you said, there's a tendency of the same government to say, yeah, you have to do that, but I am not going to fund you anymore. So that's a big tension there. So there's a big of political pressure on you to perform, to really contribute to the economic development of your country, but are not willing to chip in, or decreasingly willing to chip in. And of course, typically also in that sense, you already mentioned the whole issue of make sure that your graduates actually find employment. And that's of course also big political pressure to actually work on that. So that's very clear that we have also mentioned that. You see that in many countries, the employability issue is less of an issue in my country, because we have actually an aging society. So that's another issue. But the relevance of higher education to continuously make sure that my country is on top of the global rankings of innovation is of course there. You mentioned competition. It's here. Samuel actually said we need to add competition. We are also increasingly in many countries of increasing number of higher education institutions are founded, and public institutions need to compete with private or the other way around. And it really depends per country about whether private universities are perceived to be stronger than public universities. In Kenya, private universities are very important. In Ethiopia, they are less important. So it really depends the context in which you operate. We just follow the clock. Community voice. That's the not per se the government, but of course the government wants to be a spokesperson of that. But you see, in particularly, I think in a country like yours, there's a big responsibility also upon you how you actually serve the community. And it's also there. And that relates to entrepreneurship, where not only, let's say, entrepreneurship in the sense of startup that may grow to a unicorn, to a big billionaire company, but also how can you use entrepreneurship in social entrepreneurship, in community development. That is also something, I think that's also part of what you most likely also will be doing in Nigeria, because you can also bring in the notions of entrepreneurship to strengthen some family earnings, and also to strengthen, let's say, to make sure that some income is flowing back to development of schools or health services on local level. And that's a complete different things, which are, I think, relevant in the context that you operate. Business voice, of course, that's also, every business community per country is different. You're living in a country which is known that's more or less, I've got a perception that everyone is every Nigerian is a businessman. They always try to, also if they come to my institution, they always try to negotiate and all kind of stuff, so it never stops. But that's my perception. But it's, let's say, business, let's say how strong your business community is of course different in a country, but also within a region, within a because business are also often geographically organized. But they increasingly need also to innovate. So they may knock on your door. Do you have a response to that? Or if they don't knock on your door, do you knock on their door? And the business needs, I think we talked about it earlier, enterprising skills. They're not looking for only an engineer who knows the model, but also actually can develop something for a business. But I think I don't have to say that to you. Technology voice, it has been mentioned here also, the increasing demand and use of ICT on all kind of levels. So how do you as university cope with digitalization? I've learned from my son that if I don't know the answer, I just Google. And it's the kind of habit that I now increasingly have. So if we have a conversation and I don't know anything about, let's say, tonight I need to look at economic blah, 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 and I can look at the recipe of fufu indeed, these kind of things. But that does imply that while you'll be having a brilliant lecture, your student may be Facebooking with her friends in Nigeria. So that's also, social media is also not only as a source of knowledge that you can incorporate wisely, but it may also compete with actually your wonderful class that you already do for many years. How do you handle that? How do you handle that? What do you have a kind of procedure? Do you allow or do you not allow? If you allow, to what kind of extent? These kind of things. More that's a serious issue for in-class, but it also has to do with what's the value of the knowledge that you have, that you bring, in relation to the value of the knowledge that your student can find free of charge using her or his mobile device. Relevant also, I think nowadays it's becoming a less focus, but do you have an answer, or do you want to enter the market of the MOOCs, of the open accessible education programs, which are free of charge, and you can have a kind of perhaps a 1-hour lecture on entrepreneurship with a Harvard stamp, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's the whole digitalization comes in. And the last one is the student voice, formulated in a certain way here already, that let's say also students are demanding increasingly. But they're also demanding because they see all kind of things around them, so they also have higher expectations to you as an institution. And how do you cope? Because they say, nice that I have to pay to become enrolled in KNUST, but do you also guarantee that I've got a job when I'm ready? And you may say, yeah, that's a tricky one, but there's a certain logic for them to ask. What I did not mention, oh yeah, the global model, oh yeah, it's there. I thought it was there also. Also students, it also has to do with the competition. How do you position yourself towards, let's say, other institutions? So, are you also attracting students from the Netherlands to do their master program or semester over here? Because actually, or is a student from Accra who has some money choosing not to go to Kumasi, but actually going to London? So that's also because they say, I don't want to go to Kumasi, it's not interesting enough, and their student facilities are outdated, and I've heard from my friend of a friend that their labs are deteriorating, so I better don't spend the money of my parents to go to Kumasi. Okay, and then they nowadays have a choice. Globally, we're talking about, in a few years, 8 million young people who will go abroad, from my country to yours, or from your country to mine. It's a big number. It's a big number. So there's also opportunity there. There's a risk with opportunity.
Foreign universities are also having campuses also in developing countries.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, but that has to do with, let's say, it has to do with competition, but also that students are looking for the choices are increasing. So these are, let's say, in general, the trends that are surrounding us. And we did it in a different way on purpose. So this is a kind of categorization in a different way. I think I'm done for today. I'll just check. Just a minute. Yeah, I think this is the. Yeah, so this is the last one. Indeed, we agreed to, let's say, stop around this time so that I'll do this. I think you were not in the room when I showed this before. So this is the process we go through. We did today, we focused strongly on the current situation of your institution. And tomorrow we still do a bit of the current and then we move to the future, yeah? So tomorrow morning, we have a complete different type of work, because we do, all of us are under my, I will explain tomorrow, but all of you will be asked to do an online assessment of your own institution, okay? That implies, I think the setting of this room is okay, but please bring your own laptop or iPad or whatever. We start at 8:30, and please be here, and then I'll explain tomorrow morning. So in fact, we do a kind of a particular shaped SWOT analysis, yeah? And then from there onwards, we then assess. You yourself assess what you have, and we interpret, and then we move to the future. Okay. So by the end of tomorrow, we have a kind of picture on what we ideally would like, how we would like to see KNUST develop. All right? Are there some urgent questions or comments to be made at this moment? Not urgent enough, so then I'll thank you very much for your presence. I'll hope you don't have too many urgent matters still to do in your office, but I hope that's still a bit of time. And I'll see you tomorrow here, same place, 8:30 in the morning. And feel free to bring in some other colleagues, because the room is big enough. But if they come, ask them to bring their own computer with them, because they can also step in tomorrow morning. And through the office of Samuel, I will share my presentation. Have a nice day and have a nice evening. Thank you all.